Title: The Eyes in the Dark. The small town of Prendergast had always been a quiet place, nestled between a dense forest and the sharp edges of craggy hills. It was the type of town where rumors spread like wildfire, and the local legends took root in the hearts of the inhabitants. Generations had passed down stories of strange occurrences, disappearances and sightings of unsettling creatures, none more notorious than the legend of the Mothman. When Emily Anderson moved to Prendergast with her family, she was unaware of the shadows that loomed just beyond the edge of town. As a newcomer, she found herself an oddity, a curiosity among the locals, who whispered and exchanged knowing glances whenever she passed. It wasn't until the school year began that she discovered the truth. In the cafeteria, she overheard hushed conversations about the Mothman, the man-sized figure with giant wings and glowing red eyes who was said to appear on the nights before disasters. Each person had their own story, a variation that heightened the mystery. Some claimed to have seen him perched on a telephone pole. Others swore he flew above the trees like a harbinger, while a few noted that his presence always brought misfortune to the town. Curiosity piqued, Emily ventured into the local library after school one day, determined to uncover the truth about the Mothman. She sifted through old newspaper articles and yellowed pages of books containing local legends. The more she read, the more anxious she felt. The Mothman had been linked to several accidents and strange happenings, fires, floods, and, worst of all, the disappearance of a girl named Lucy Delaney just a few years prior. Lucy went missing one misty evening, and whispers claimed she had encountered the creature. As the days passed, strange things began to occur in Prendergast. Lights flickered at odd times, pets went missing, and the air held a weight that made it hard to breathe. A feeling of dread settled over the town like an unwelcome cloak. Emily found herself drawn to the woods where, they said, the Mothman roamed. Her friends warned her to stay away, but she felt a strange connection, as if the forest called to her. One particularly foggy night, the temperature dropped, and a sense of urgency surged through her. Eager to prove her bravery, she slipped out of her house and made her way toward the darkened edge of the forest. Emily clutched a flashlight like a lifeline, its beam slicing through the thick fog that swirled around her ankles. As she delved deeper into the woods, the familiar sounds of the night faded into silence. She shone her flashlight around, revealing twisted tree branches and thick undergrowth. And then she saw it, an unsettling silhouette in the distance, perched on a branch, its enormous wings folded against its body, casting an ominous shadow. Those crimson eyes glowed like embers in the darkness, locking onto her with an intensity that pierced through her bravado. Time seemed to freeze as she stood rooted in place, heart racing. Emily. The voice was a low whisper riding on the wind, disembodied but hauntingly familiar. Emily. Panic surged through her veins, and with it came the courage to run. She stumbled backward, tripping over roots, but the shadow didn't follow. Instead, it remained perched, watching her every move, as if savoring her fear. "Get your friends," it whispered again, echoing like a ghost in the trees. Get your friends. The fear that had enveloped her morphed into something else, determination. She burst from the woods and raced home, locking the door behind her. Forgetting her terror, she quickly gathered her closest friends, Jake, a skeptic, Amy, a believer, and Liz, who was more cautious but curious. Together, they returned to the edge of the woods, armed with flashlights and each other's courage. As they approached the familiar clearing, a low hum reverberated through the air, an unnatural sound that set their teeth on edge. And there, where they had seen it last, the Mothman was waiting, staring down at them with those fearsome red eyes. "Get back," Jake shouted, raising his flashlight in defiance. But Emily felt an odd pull, as if the creature, whatever it was, could glimpse her inner turmoil. "I want to know," she shouted over the drone of fear. "Know what?" Amy asked, both terrified and enthralled. "Why do you exist? What do you want?" The words spilled out before Emily could grasp them. In response, the Mothman unfurled its wings, and the moonlight illuminated its form, gigantic and majestic, riddled with dark feathers and a sorrowful depth in its eyes. Then, the creature spoke, the sound like 1,000 whispers colliding. "I don't want to hurt you," it said, its voice echoing around them. "I want to warn you." Emily's breath caught at the realization that this horror was more than just a monster. It was a cautionary spirit, created to watch over the town, a sentinel against impending doom. Something is coming, the Mothman warned. A greater darkness that will swallow this place whole. The dread that gripped her heart intensified, but it wasn't just fear, it was urgency. What do we do? Gather them, the Mothman urged, the night air thick with foreboding. Those in town who will listen. Only by standing together can you combat the darkness. With a newfound purpose, Emily nodded confidently, carrying the burden of warning her town. The Mothman spread its wings wide, taking to the sky in a swirling mass of shadow, leaving the friends standing in a circle of uncertainty but guided by their resolve. As the creature disappeared into the night, the darkness deepened, the weight of the warning ringing in their hearts. They turned back toward Prendergast, ready to face whatever terror awaited, united by the mystery of the Mothman, a harbinger turned ally. And in that darkness, they learned that sometimes fear can illuminate the path to bravery.